Do you want to connect with your donors on one of the most important days of the year? In this video, we're going to give you the perfect map to a successful day of inspiring generosity. Before we can do that, we have to understand what Giving Tuesday is. I mean, you wouldn't want to go to a party if you didn't know what it was for, right? First, we have to unpack a small nuance when talking about Giving Tuesday. Remember when the company Alphabet was called Google, but they also had a search engine called Google? Well, this is the same for Giving Tuesday. While we might think of the event known as Giving Tuesday is actually an independent nonprofit organization that started in 2012. And their mission is simple: to unleash the power of radical generosity around the world by encouraging people to do good. This was done in part because of the hype of Black Friday. Nowadays, you might do all of your Black Friday shopping online to avoid all the lines. But way back in 2012, before everything was being delivered by Amazon, people would go out and storm the local Best Buys and Walmarts to get the best deals on things that, frankly, they didn't need. So Giving Tuesday thought, if people are so willing to do that, what if we can just encourage people to use that money for something better than, say, a second toaster you bought for $6? And thus, Giving Tuesday was born. Giving Tuesday operates throughout the entire year, but they host an annual event every year on the Tuesday after Black Friday as a means to inspire generosity during the holiday season. Now that's all well and good, but you're doing good all the time, right? So why should you participate in Giving Tuesday? The reason you should get involved is pretty simple and probably goes against the advice you heard from your mom or dad growing up. Giving Tuesday is a day for everyone, from individuals to families, nonprofits, schools, religious organizations, small businesses, and even corporations to rally together to give back to the world. So while your mom was right and you shouldn't jump off of a bridge because everyone else is doing it, the same advice doesn't apply to Giving Tuesday. Because of the reach of their movement, Giving Tuesday is a recognizable movement that we encourage you to participate in. Great, so I've convinced you to join. So now what? Do you sign up and I get a referral bonus? Nope. See, Giving Tuesday's national celebration is free for everyone and there's no registration required. That's right, you just get to be a part of it however makes the most sense for you. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you to clear your calendar and give all of your efforts to Giving Tuesday, because that might not make the most sense to you. In reality, there's some work you have to do on your end to decide if the investment of time and effort to go all out on Giving Tuesday is beneficial for your organization. But what I do want to say is, wherever you're at, do something. Regardless of whatever else you have planned for that day or how much time you can commit to a plan for Giving Tuesday, you need to do something. And here's why. See, your donors like two things. They like a compelling story of lives being changed and the assurance that their donations will do just that. So let's look at some facts about Giving Tuesday, both the nonprofit and the day of celebration. Here's just a small taste of what Giving Tuesday has been up to since 2012. In the last 12 years, they've started 90 movements in 90 countries around the world. And this has led to over 300 communities performing millions of acts of generosity. Pretty amazing, huh? But what does that mean for you? Well, let's look at some of those statistics to boost your confidence in your return on investment. In the most recent years, campaigns on Giving Tuesday raised over $3.1 billion. That's billion, with a B. And that was just in the US alone. So it's safe to say that even just a little effort on this day will go a long way. Let me share a little story with you. I remember graduating from high school when my best friends and I decided that we were going to pack up an old van and road trip to Salt Lake City, Utah. Why there? I couldn't tell you. Now mind you, we had no plan, used a paper map, and couldn't even tell you how many days it was supposed to take us. Can you guess how that turned out? Let's just say, I still haven't been to Salt Lake City, Utah. So to get started, you're going to want to consider your goals, right? A map is only useful when you know the destination. Now, just because the day has giving in the name, that doesn't mean that that has to be your focus. Sure, many people will make the goal to get more donations or to find gift matching opportunities, and that's great. But you can also use Giving Tuesday as a way to spread awareness about your organization and increase your reach amongst your community. Similar to this, you can use the day to build community by inviting people to like your social media page or to join your newsletter. One unique goal I'm a pretty big fan of is using the day, at least in part, to test messaging. Think about it. You're getting more new people engaged with your organization on this day than any other normal day of the year. And this is a great time to see what kind of message your people connect with the most. Whether you're sending out an email, posting on social media, or making phone calls, try it a couple different ways and see what yields the most return. But once you have your goal, now you can start putting together a plan. If you were a Lego child, like I was, you know how important it is to have that instruction manual. Because once you lose that little paper booklet, the pieces just look like one giant mess on the floor. So when you're making your way towards your Giving Tuesday goal, having a plan is just like having an instruction manual. It will keep things from becoming one giant mess. So where's the best place to start? Great question. Well, let's take this video for an example. Where do you think I started? Do you think I started by creating a really captivating thumbnail or coming up with a catchy title? Well, you'd be wrong on both. I started by thinking through the messaging. I asked myself how I wanted to communicate with you. Was it going to be with a slideshow with my voice over it, or a little talking bubble over some images? You need to start with your messaging. How do you plan to communicate with your audience? Will you use social media, emails, phone calls, letters, or more than likely, a combination of all of them? Know your platforms and begin to formulate messaging and language that is most effective there. But that's not all. You're not the only one who should be telling your story to the world. The beauty of nonprofits is often found in the interconnectivity of people and organizations. See, regardless of your nonprofit's size, there are people in your circles who know your story and are more than willing to share it. So look to your current donors, your volunteer teams, beneficiaries who have experienced the direct benefits of your organization, board members, close friends, and even family members. Find as many people that make sense to spread the word about your organization and what you're planning to do on Giving Tuesday. Imagine this. You're walking into a brand new store. It's hip, it's trendy, whatever the kids are saying these days. You walk around, you find some nice things, and you're ready to make your purchase. Except you can't find the cash registers and you don't know who to talk to. See, just because you've spread the word about your organization and what you're doing doesn't mean that people know where to, quote, check out. You have to create a clear and compelling call to action and customer journey. Depending on the goal you set, you might be asking people to give a specific gift, or follow you on social media, or forward your email to their network. Whatever the CTA is, the point is to make it simple and obvious for people to do what you want them to do. And related to that, make sure that it's clear to them why following this CTA is important to reaching your goal and how it's going to make a positive impact. Now, if your CTA involves donations specifically, here's where you want to consider some finer details. If I said, please give, anything helps, how much would you be willing to give me? Well, let's put some context on it. Imagine I'm a homeless person outside of your local Target asking for money on the corner. What does that CTA mean to you now? $5? $10? Maybe $20 if you're feeling generous. And that's regardless of your income. No millionaire is out there handing out $10,000 because there's a cardboard sign that says, quote, any amount helps. Now, imagine I'm the director of a 7-figure nonprofit undergoing a building project for our major program that we're launching. My organization is known nationwide, and we've made it public that we need $10 million to see this happen. Well, now, Mr. Millionaire who's connected to my cause might be more willing to give that $10,000 if he knows it's going to be helpful. People want to know what's needed of them. They don't want to have to do any of the guesswork. When putting together your CTA for donations, use specific language. Create strategic gift amounts. Look at what your average gift is and work from there. Think about what you're hoping to accomplish through Giving Tuesday. Look at your upcoming goals, your activities, and your program needs. Maybe you want to provide an option for people to make their gift recurring. Whatever you want them to do it plainly so that they can make the quick decision to support you. Now, when it comes time to start getting the word out, you want to be aware of 2 things. First, I want you to think about your shopping habits for major holidays or birthdays, because we've all been in that uncomfortable situation where we've forgotten to get a gift for someone and now we're up against the clock trying to find whoever's able to deliver it in time or what stores have it in stock so we can run out really quick to go grab it. And after you finally found what you needed, just in the nick of time, you tell yourself, I'm never going to do that again. I'm gonna do my shopping earlier next year. Your donors want the same chance. When you begin promoting for Giving Tuesday, you want to start before the actual day arrives. Begin to post up to a week in advance. Use this as an opportunity to build excitement, generate anticipation, and allow your donors the chance to plan on their end. This can be as simple as an email or a social media post letting people know your big idea for inspiring generosity this upcoming Giving Tuesday. Second, I want you to think about what you do after you click purchase on that gift. Years ago, you would just sit there and hope it arrives on your doorstep on time. But now, stores offer you tracking on all of your packages. You know exactly where it is, on what day of the week, at what time it was scanned in. And on some of them, you can even follow that little delivery icon around up until the very second you hear the knock at your door. Give your donors the same sense of tracking. Post regularly throughout the day. Most people recommend up to every 1 to 2 hours. Balance these points of contact between making your call to action, sharing impact updates on how the day is going, and use it to boost awareness of your organization and what you're doing. You can also use these to share any time-sensitive information, like gift matching windows. You can include a letter from your founder or a video of an influential team member explaining what achieving your Giving Tuesday goals would mean for your organization. You can also include stories from beneficiaries explaining how each donation impacts their lives directly through what your organization is doing. The point is to keep your communication frequent so your donors can track how their gift is making a difference to the community. And now it's time for what I consider the most important part of the plan. If there's one thing you don't want to forget to do, it's this: thanking your supporters. If you've ever trained for a race, one of the pieces of advice you'll always hear is don't slow down before the finish line. See, it can be easy to get swept away in the craziness of the day, but having a plan to say thank you to your donors is important to the stewardship process. And the best way to do this is to prepare everything you can ahead of time. This includes setting up automated emails, having social media posts scheduled at the end of the day, or drafting out thank you letters that just need names and signatures added. There is no reason why you can't have all of these things prepared before Giving Tuesday even starts. And this also gives you the time to think through your tone. Take the time to craft unique language that's meaningful, thoughtful, and impactful. People can smell generic from a mile away. You want to connect with your donors in a real way and show them the direct impact that they've made specifically through your organization. So you've made it to the end. You've successfully connected with your audience and you've thanked your donors for their generous support. Now it's time to sit back, grab that cup of coffee, and do one more thing. Giving Tuesday is helpful for your organization even after the day is over. And while I said thanking your supporters is the most important part, you also don't want to miss the benefits of this last step. As a leader, you want to do whatever you can to make sure your nonprofit is growing. And once Giving Tuesday is over, there's 2 ways you can do this. The first is centered all around learning about your people. All day long, you've been collecting data on your donors. So what did you learn? Have your team ask questions like, who was engaged and why? Did new people give? Were they the demographic you expected? How did they get connected with your organization? Were people making one-time gifts or were they opting in to be recurring donors? And once you have that data, it's time to reflect and refine. Take notes on everything that happened throughout the day to make Giving Tuesday even better next year. Sit down and ask questions like, what went well that you want to do again next year? What would you do differently next year? Is there anything that you want to change or remove from your workflow? How did you measure success? Based on that, did you consider this year a success? Would you change the way that you want to measure success next year? Answer these questions and then list a few action items that you want to take next year so that when it comes time to plan, you're already one step ahead in the process. So there you have it. Giving Tuesday is a powerful opportunity for you and your organization. The day is about so much more than fundraising. It's a day to be an agent of generosity and to connect with your community. So get to planning, make the most of the day, and most importantly, have fun with it. We'll see you next time.